how, like after the workshop, how did you all, did you have any situations where you were remembering the workshop or the contents? Maybe some of you can share before while others join. If any of you can.
Hi Suman, good morning. This is Aravind here.
Yeah,
Uh,
hello Arvind.
yeah, so I would like to share the place where I try to correct my son all the time, my teenage son, and I remembered during the workshop, Shiva actually recommended that I should try to connect and then correct, right? So
Okay.
I made a very conscious effort to refrain from correcting all the time, try to make a connection.
Okay.
And it took a lot of effort from my end, right? Like every time my instinct was to tell him that, hey, this is wrong, wrong, wrong. But I think I've not made entire progress, but at least I feel that I have made some progress with my son using this particular statement in my relationship. Yeah. So it was very
Okay.
helpful for me. Yeah.
Great. Wonderful. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So anybody else who wants to speak or share? Were you remembering this content on any occasion or like any incident? Yeah. Sorry, who is speaking? Amitaji. Yeah. Please.
I keep on remembering, like whenever I'm in class and losing the patience, seeing them. At that time, I just control my conscious effort. By conscious effort, I'm controlling myself. And
Okay.
most of the time, I'm blank. Most of the time.
Okay.
There is no thought. Usually, I overthink for each and everything, but it is going a bit smooth.
Okay.
But guilt comes every time when I'm not able to manage the things at school only. A guilt comes.
Okay.
And all the things are reminding, like highlighting, this is to be done. It is not possible to manage everything, but I'm trying my best.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, ma'am. Nice. Thank you. I mean, external world, obviously, there's so many things we may or may not be able to manage. So, but yeah, our internal state is what we can keep reflecting upon and see how it is. That's the goal, right? The harmony within is what we are trying to achieve. So, yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
It is
nice.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, the external circumstances, incidents, and behaviors, all these keep like readily available to trigger us and to disturb us. So that they're everywhere. Agreed.
Yes.
So Rawat sir, Shatranjay sir, you wanted to share?
Namaste.
Namaste sir. Good morning.
So, end of the session, my action plan had 3 components. So I started working on it. First one was expressing gratitude more explicitly. So sense of gratitude was already there. So I have started expressing it once in a while more. When I feel that now it's time to express. So that is work in progress. No complaints target is 1-year target for reaching no complaint. I'm right now figuring out distinction between complaining and pointing out mistake. So I think it will take a while before figuring out the thin line between the two.
Sure. Yeah, wonderful, sir.
Yeah, and the third one was about eating. Target was having food, etc. 100% time based on nutritional requirement and the health guidelines.
Okay.
So the change which I did, which I was aware of and thinking for quite a while, but I thought it's time to. Now I'm eating before sunset. So last 10 days, I'm finishing my dinner at 5:30. 5:40 is the sunset time. So that's the change. As far as content is concerned, yes, it is nutritional. So last 10 days, it was 100% based on nutrition and health guidelines and Ayurvedic principles.
Awesome.
That's my input. And as far as the content is concerned, just an information to you and others. So it was a coincidence that Dean of Institute asked Professor Sangal to float a course on ethics for AI data and all that to credit course. And Professor Sangal, since he's in Indore, he requested help from somebody else.
Okay.
Dr. Kishore Dean suggested my name, and we are working on a curriculum course on ethics, where normally what happens, ethics courses, people talk about actionable ethics, but there is not much value component in it. So it's not founded on basic values, fundamental values. So we are designing a curriculum course for an ethics based on basic fundamental principles, which you all discuss in Jivan Vidya. So we'll float on the spring semester, which is coming January.
Oh, nice.
So since you asked whether we remember, yes, I'll remember and remind others also.
Sure, sir.
Professor Sangal and me will be co-teaching this course. Thank you.
Oh, nice. Wonderful, sir. Please convey my regards to Professor Sangal. I also need to speak to him.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sunil Gupta ji.
Hi, namaste, Suman ji, and hello to everyone. So after the workshop, I think I feel more. I'm at peace with myself and whatever I do. And there are various, moments where I am in a situation where I, kind of need to take a decision, and it is whether it is coming out of, say, in a reactive mode, or so I always go back to my learnings. I think and reflect, what should I do, and considering myself, considering my nature, the nature, people around me, and all. You remember you taught us about natural acceptance. So there are many things that comes up in my plate, and I think whether it is goes with the formula of all those parameters, natural acceptance, then with people. So I am able to kind of lean out. I mean, just कुछ कुछ चीजों को कि अभी ये जरूरी नहीं है, मतलब whether it is actually required. Sometimes things looks very attractive, and कि ये भी करना चाहिए, वो भी करना चाहिए, but I'm able to like differentiate what not to do. And I have started, as Satrunjay sir said, ki gratitude. So it is very consciously, like I make sure that wherever and whenever I can, whether I'm meeting new people, I show gratitude, and yeah, all these things. And I think uh, my relationship with my like siblings, my parents, am I have been into many situations where the conflicts is there with my mother, and she always comes. There is a point that she says, she always argues on many things, or I argue. And now I am able to just because of the workshop, I know that how I need to react, or not react. So yeah, that's all.
It's very nice, Sunil ji. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Yeah, before, yes, sir.
I think just a point. Sunil ji said that you taught him. I guess you failed. You proposed it, right?
Yes. Yeah, facilitated and
I
proposed
think
only.
you refuse to accept this, that you taught something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the effort in the workshop is only to draw attention or to the proposals. So yeah, learning is our own experience. So when we go back and we try to use these principles and the sutras into our own decision making, into our own relationships fulfillment, and into our own planning for the day, organizing our own spaces. So that's the learnings that we do. Yes, this principle seems to be correct, that principle seems to be correct. That realization is our own learning ultimately. So in that sense, yeah, we bring to your attention, but the learning is an individual thing ultimately. Padma Priyaji, you wanted to say something? Padma Priya garu?
Yes, yes. Wait.
Okay. Hello, Padma Priya garu, are you saying something? Oh, yeah.
Namaste. Just I am doing my garden work and participating in this. Just I am following. I am doing nothing here. Okay. Nothing to say, sir. Good morning.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. So, okay, thanks everyone for joining. So as we discussed in the workshop, every month in the first week of the month, that's because we could actually plan to do it weekly also, like we do for the Telugu language for refreshers, we do every week because the number of participants is big there. We have almost 70-80 people participating in the Telugu refreshers. We did a lot of workshops in Telugu, so we have more participants there. So this English one, we did only 2 or 3 workshops in the last 1.5 years. So the number of participants is less. So we do usually like once in a month as of now. As we have more participation, we can try to increase the frequency of the English language refreshers also. The refresher in English language. So coming to the plan for today's session. So in the workshop, since we did it online especially, and we did it in less amount of time, we did not pay a lot of attention to what's going on inside the self. So we said, we brought to your attention that human being is a coexistence. So let me write that. So we said human being is coexistence of self and body, right? And information is what flows from body to self and instructions from self to body. So this was the proposal. Then we also saw that the needs are different between the self and body. So the need of the self is happiness, whereas the need of the body is things like nurturing, protection, and right utilization. And then we noticed that in time, things are happening in the self in a continuous manner. This need is continuous, and in body, it is temporary. So as and when there is hunger, we need food. As and when there is no hunger, we don't need food. And again, the fulfillment, the main part is fulfillment. We try to propose in front of you that the fulfillment to achieve this happiness and is that with right understanding. Oops. Sorry, there is a problem with the display. Please give me 1 minute. I'll just reboot and come back. I may exit the meeting right now.
Hello. 2 minutes అండి. సుమన్ టెక్నికల్ ఇష్యూ వల్ల లెఫ్ట్ అయినట్టున్నారు. Hello, is it audible? Am I audible?
Yes, it is audible.
The one more request is that before Suman joining, you are in that latest 17th batch group. That group is going to remove. So we have 2 separate groups. One is for English and two is for one is for Telugu. If you are not there in any group, you can join. Or if you want to there in both the groups, you can also be there. So I'll share it again in the last group which we discussed regarding our workshop updates. In the same group, I will update the details also. I think Suman is back.
Yeah, very sorry. So suddenly my screen went blank. Can you please make me host again, Srinivas? Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know why this is happening, but I'll try to avoid using. All right, so we observed that for the fulfillment of the self, right understanding and right feelings are required. And for body, we need physical facilities. Whereas the biggest, right understanding and right feelings. And here we need physical facilities. So the typical blunder or the mistake that we tend to do is that we try to fulfill the physical, the need of the self using the physical facilities. That's what we try to draw your attention to. And of course, the right understanding and right feelings also cannot fulfill the needs of the body. Even this way is also not possible. Even this is also not possible. So the only thing that's possible is
Naresh Padmanabhki.
So right understanding and right feelings will provide the required happiness in self, and physical facilities can provide the required nurturing, protection, and right utilization. So this is where we kind of left it. But now let's go a little deeper into the self. So now there is this self. What is happening inside the self? We saw some of the things, like what are the activities going on in self, what are the activities going on in body. And so before going into this, let's kind of try to experience this. So what I will I'll request is, if you all can kind of close your eyes, let's observe the relationship between the self and the body. All right. So what I'll request is, I will take you through this. I will kind of keep speaking, and if you all can close your eyes, we'll try to observe. So we have the self, we have our body. So let's try to observe what is the exchange that's happening between the self and the body. Okay. So, and the closing of the eyes is just to pay more attention. Otherwise, we may get distracted. So, all right. So I'm also closing my eyes, and now I'm trying to pay attention to my body. So the first thing we can pay attention to is the breath. So I can sense that some like air is going in and out. I can sense whether it's warm or cold. So when I'm saying this, all your attentions are on that part of the nose where the air is flowing. Now let's pay attention to some other sensation in the body. For example, your hands may be touching each other. So at that point, there is a sensation. Let's just observe that sensation. And if you're standing or sitting, so your either feet are touching to the ground, there is a sensation there. and where our bottoms are touching the seat, there are sensations there. So all these are inputs that I'm able to observe. And all these exist simultaneously. The sensation in my nose, the sensation between my feet and the ground, the sensation between my hands and clothes. There could be some pain in the body somewhere if we try to observe. Could be on the shoulders, could be on the back or on the neck. So as we are trying to pay attention to each of these, we are able to see them. There could be some stress also somewhere. So if you take a deep breath, you may sense that stress being relieved for a moment. There are sensations as your eyelids are touching each other, or there are sensations in your mouth between the lips or between the tongue and your mouth. There are so many sensations all over the body. And all these sensations are simultaneously available. What we are able to see, the sensation, is only the one either we pay attention to. The moment I say the sensation under your legs, your attention is going there. The moment I say the sensation in your mouth, your attention is going there. Who is paying this attention? And who is shifting this attention? Is it me or is it you? Or your body that is shifting the attention? Or is it you, that is yourself? Now we have been observing the sensations of the touch mostly. There could be some noises around you if you pay attention. It could be the sound of the fan or the fan in your computer, or it could be some birds outside. As we pay attention to each of them, we are forgetting all the old sensations and paying attention to the new one. So after touch, we have tried to observe the sensation of the sound. So this sound is also coming through your ears to you and is available for your processing. And as you can see right now, the most predominant sensation is my voice. This is also an input that's coming to you through your ears. So we have seen the sensations of the touch and then of the sound. Then you have the sensations of the smell. You can smell what's around you, and if there is something very strong, we don't miss it. And so far we have been closing our eyes because the most dominant sensation is the visual one, which is mostly driving us. The attention of the self often goes by the visual input. If we open our eyes, all these sensations of touch and even the audio sometimes may become secondary, and what you're seeing may become the most dominant sensation. So all the five senses are providing inputs through our body to the self, and the self is processing all these inputs. Let's say I try to move my hand. Am I moving the hand or the body is moving the hand? Who is giving the instruction to the body? Who can stop the movement? Who can decide to move? So if we look at it for a minute, there are sensations all around me. There's so many of them, so many inputs, and I'm picking and choosing what to process depending on my priorities. For example, if I've decided that listening to this session is the highest priority, then my voice is the most dominant input. If that's not so interesting, or if there is something else that's bothering us, or we are trying to attend to, like for example, something in the kitchen is on the stove, then all our attention is there, even though somebody is speaking in this session. So our priorities decide which input to process and respond to, and what decisions. So what we are trying to observe is there are two entities here. There's a body and there's a self. There is information flowing from the body to the self in the form of sensations. And the self is taking decisions whether to move a leg, shake a leg, move the head, or hold the hands, etc. All these sensations kind of are at a distance from me, like some points in space. I can see myself a little away from them. The sensation between my leg and the floor seems to be far away from me. Okay. So yeah, you can open your eyes now if you've been closing. So may not be very obvious. I mean, the difference, but as we try to pay attention, there it may increase that. Like I can see more clearly, more vividly, what's going on. But does anybody want to share something, what you observed, or for a couple of minutes? as we were trying to observe, what were you seeing? It was everybody seeing and observing exactly the same thing that I was speaking? Maybe you can respond in chat. Does anybody want to say something?
May I?
Yeah, sure.
Sumanji, I think I was just when you were doing this exercise now, so I was initially it was difficult to bring my focus on the sensations, but eventually I was able to. And the distancing part is, I think, an area where I would want to learn and dwell it deeper, because it's there's a main sensation you said, that is, which is visual. So we are so engrossed or so embedded in that sometimes it's too much. So just to take a step back, closing eyes gave me a chance to make that distance, and that is very important. So yeah, that's
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Hello.
Anyone here?
Can I speak?
Yes, Hitesh ji, please go ahead.
Just as you say, vision is the main sensation. So I realize how vision is distracting ourselves. So that's why our ancient जो साइंस जो बोल रहे थे, जो पुराने, जो जब भी कुछ साधना है, मेडिटेशन करना है, तो आंखें बंद करके ही करो, तो मतलब तुम आजू बाजू का you will not aware regarding this. So that I realize.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Sir. Thank you. Shatranjay ji.
So, extending to this conversation, it reminded me of an advice, because I'm working on food again.
Okay.
The old advice that while eating, typical Ayurvedic advice, eat alone. There's a general advice given.
I see.
And definitely parents keep giving advice to us that don't watch TV while the evening debates, while eating your food.
Yeah.
And we don't enjoy or relish, or we don't even know the taste, whether it's right, wrong, something. So
yes,
reminded me that we get distracted, and that causes some of the health issues. We overeat, undereat, because of this. Because normally we visual attention is maximum, and then we get engrossed in something else. Food takes back seat. So yeah. I thought it reminded me of the age-old advice.
Yeah, that's true. So body is constantly telling us a lot of things that, for example, you've eaten enough, you can stop now, or I'm full. But we are busy in paying attention to something else that we often tend to ignore or not observe that sensation. So yeah. So, and also often we try to make something very tasty and try to eat it, but while eating we are actually watching something and not even relishing the taste of the food that we are eating. Yeah, Hitesh, you want to say something?
Yes, I want to say कि जो गीता में जो 9वां अध्याय में जो श्लोक है, मन मना भव, मतलब कुछ भी अगर श्लोक है मन मना भव, मतलब किसी भी हम काम कर रहे हैं तो उसमें हमारा पूरा मन लगे के काम करना है, या कुछ खाना है उसमें मन लगे खाओ. Any sensation we are deeply engaged in that we can exactly take benefit of this sensation. सुनना है, स्मेल देखना है, दोनों काम साथ में करेंगे तो कुछ भी एक में मजा नहीं आएगा. That I can realize now.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, yeah, so like prioritizing. So if I want to really observe something keenly, I can choose to, for example, pay attention to that. And if my teacher is teaching something in the class, if that's my topmost priority, my complete attention is on what teacher is saying. And even though some bell is ringing outside or somebody is playing outside, they if I have the real attention and the real concentration, I'm able to prioritize my sensations, then yes, I can pay that attention. But if I'm not, then I can get easily distracted by somebody playing outside, or somebody walking around in the classroom, just somebody passing by in the balcony. Anything can distract if that's not, if I don't understand why that is the highest priority, or why am I here in the classroom. So yeah, that way, yes. So paying attention to what is of importance to me at that point of time is, for example, a very important thing. So this we try to see is between the self and the body, what's going on as inputs from the body, and then self giving instructions back to the body. Now within the self, let's go one level deeper into the self. So in the self, what are the things that are there? So there is a self, and then there is body, and there is self. So we saw that body and self information is coming, that's sensations, and self to body instructions are going. So even a very small thing like killing a mosquito, we think that it happens involuntarily, but it happens so fast that actually if we pay attention to every step that is happening, we can see who is taking the decision to hit that mosquito on our body. So many of the things, so all, even like when we are feeling cold, so we can clearly see if it is happening slowly, like we are in a room and we are feeling cold, then we take a decision, okay, let me either reduce the AC or let me wear a jacket or sweater, either other way around. So if I feel very hot, then I might decide to switch on the fan. So the self is taking these decisions. So when there are like gaps and when there is a long process to execute that, we can clearly see the self taking these decisions. But when things happen so fast, like for example, my body has been sitting for some time in a chair and it feels uncomfortable, and I adjusted myself in the chair. Now this adjustment, although I haven't paid attention, decided, okay, you move this leg there, you move this leg here, each instruction I'm not able to see, but body is not doing it on its own, right? The self is telling how to adjust the posture so that it's comfortable in the chair. So self is the decision maker. Self is the decider or decision maker. Now going into the self, so there is a lay, or a piece of self which is closest to the body and which receives all this information. So we said, like, there is desiring, and then there is thinking, and then there is selection or expectation. So in Hindi, the words given are ichha, maybe writing wrong, vichar, and then asha. Oh, not aksha. Oh, sorry. Okay, let me not write it wrong. Asha. So ichha, vichar, and asha. So let's look at this this space in the self, which is called asha. Okay, let's see what goes on in that. Again, same way, I'll try to walk you through this space in the self. Let's try to look within ourselves again, because to not get distracted and to pay attention to what I'm saying, you can try to close your eyes. But basically in self, many activities are going, like we see things like, I have this desire that I want to become something. I have this desire that I want to earn some money, or I want to be achieve something, a position, etc. These desires are big desires, and we can clearly see them. And then thinking also, like okay, we see that we can think, we get worked up. I'm thinking how to achieve these goals. I'm thinking how to, for example, how to plan my day. I'm thinking what to do next. I'm thinking what is this person speaking right now in the session. So all this thinking is going on in myself, right? And then there is another activity which is called selection. So the selection is about or expectation. So this part is about tasting. For example, um, I like this sofa, I don't like that one, but I don't know, I can't explain it properly why I like this one and why I don't like this one. This is what acha lagta hai mujhe. Or for example, I am using a toothpaste. This toothpaste I like it, that one I don't like it. I'm not all like our tastes especially are in this space, in this space of selection and expectation. Comparison keeps happening in this space. Like for example, I eat a banana, if it's rotten, oh, this banana is not good. So when I'm saying it's not good, it is in comparison with, you know, something which is there inside me, which is saying this is not good. So where is that comparison happening? So that comparison is happening in this space of selection. So again, let's try to pay attention to this space briefly, not for long, maybe 4 or 5 minutes or less, and then we'll come back to this again. So the space of selection. Okay, I request you all to close your eyes again. So I am there and my body is there. I'm getting inputs from my body. But right now I'm closing my eyes. So mostly the inputs that I get are either audio, that's voice, or the touch. And the voice is dominating at this point, and I'm paying attention to that voice. Now within me, I'm trying to remember that incident when I went to a restaurant or a place where I eat, could be a mess or a canteen or a restaurant. And then I saw that favorite dish of mine. Could be a biryani, could be a samosa, could be some sweet, kheer, paneer, whatever it is. In the moment I see it visually itself, I started experiencing the taste of it. My mouth was already watering, and I want to taste it. So I take it and I eat it, and I'm enjoying the taste of that food. If it was exactly the way I expected it. At this particular place, this is how I ate my samosa, and that's how exactly it tasted again. I'm enjoying that match of the taste of the expectations. And I feel good. Similarly, I have organized my room. I kept it clean, organized the furniture in the room in the way I wanted. And I'm enjoying the scene there, the scene of the room. I feel good about it. I'm watching a picture, something visual. I saw a painting and I really liked it. I feel good about it. I went I went to some room, was walking through the corridor, and suddenly I smelled that lemongrass aroma, and I feel very attracted to it. And I walked past that place, and I suddenly see some music playing, one of my favorite songs, and I really enjoy it. So when I listen to that song, my favorite song, I'm enjoying in myself. I feel good. I'm humming it. I'm repeating it. I'm singing it. It doesn't matter how bad I'm singing, but I'm singing it and enjoying it. Or sometimes if there is a music which makes me move, makes me dance, I'm dancing to that music. I'm enjoying again. So in all these cases, I'm relishing the sensations, and I'm also at the same time disappointed too if these sensations don't meet my expectations. If that samosa was not, it was stale or not made to the taste I'm expecting, I get disappointed. Or if that room was not arranged in the way I expected, I am disappointed. Or if I hear to the music which I am a fan of classical, but I hear that loud sounds of a DJ, I'm disappointed. Or at least I'm slightly not so happy, or my peace is disturbed. So in this way, there is a part of me which is enjoying these sensations, whether it's the movie, music, food, the clothing that I want, or the arrangements in our life. So all these enjoyments of the sensations are happening in this part of me. And this part is also slightly manipulatable by these sensations. If I provide good sensations, it feels good. If I provide bad sensations, it feels bad. Example, I'm in a very hot room. This part of myself can easily be disturbed. Or I'm in a very cold place, or it's getting very cold. I get very uncomfortable. So the sensations directly impact this part of me. Okay, so let's stop here. So we were observing a part of ourself where we enjoy the sensations from the body. So the input is coming to the body and myself is receiving them and also relishing them, comparing with what it is expecting or what it was hoping to receive, and then comparing and enjoying or not enjoying. So this part of self is the activity is called as asha, which are asha. So the asha part is what is the name given to this. Any name can be given, but the important part is to experience this in ourself, and then see that how we are like this part of the self we keep entertaining, and this part of the self is what we keep feeding most of the time. The physical facilities are basically engaging this part of the self, and we think that my whole self is happy and in harmony, whereas only this part of the self is what we are trying to satisfy using the physical facilities, because physical facilities basically can provide the sensations that we want. Right. Okay. So anybody, any comments or any questions? Were you able to see all the, I mean, the things that I was talking about, how the various sensations are being processed by ourself and experienced by ourself? Okay. So somebody asked, so Amitaji asked, like, self or brain. So yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, the proposal is that like brain is also still part of the body, but it is kind of a gateway, like all the sensations go through the brain, maybe to the self. So the mind is in the self, that's the non-physical part. So the way, that's where we are thinking or desiring, all that feelings are happening in our mind, in our self. But the brain is actually the physical part, which is part of the body. So maybe as we pay more attention, the difference we can try to observe more. But yeah, okay. So it was vague. Yeah, true. I mean, yes. So I was trying to guide, but yeah, not always we can draw the attention so easily to these parts. So, but anyway, it's an attempt. So we can keep observing ourselves. So as we propose these things, I will talk about the other two also, the thinking part and the desiring part, and we can go back and like as we pay attention. So it's like the gross to the subtle, right? So when I say see what's in front of you, it's either a mobile or a computer or a wall or anything, we are able to see it clearly, right? Because this object is so big and it can't be missed. But when we say observe that sensation or observe that thought or observe that desire, those are so minute and subtle things that it needs more attention to, or even for let's start with, like, okay, in your laptop or in your phone, I'm drawing, let's say, your attention. So there is a camera, can you see that? So now you can pay attention to that camera. Earlier, you just saw that whole thing as one object, as a laptop or a mobile phone. But when I said, okay, look at the camera, there is a small dot which is black in color, and then there is a camera in it. See, look at it. So now you are able to see it. And then I say, in that camera, okay, see, there is even more hole, and there is some space in that. Then you are able, we are able to pay that attention to that, observe that, right? Similarly, it's smaller and smaller things. So like from the gross things, like when I say gross things, the sensations were the easily identifiable things, because they are still grosser than things like the, like our tastes, like our, and our thoughts and our desires. These, as we go inner and inner, then within the self, deeper within the self, things become more subtler and subtler. They're going, becoming smaller and smaller, and it becomes tougher and tougher to get a hold of them or catch them and pay attention to them. So this whole journey actually is kind of from gross to subtle. So observing physical things is are the biggest ones. So I can see houses, roads, things, and since we see them easily, we dwell in them. So then as we say, okay, pay attention to our body and self, then we are saying that let's go more subtle things, then even further subtler things, and further and further. So as our ability to observe more subtle things increases, so we can observe this more clearly. I'm not saying I'm an expert in that, but even I am also in the process of learning to see these things. But that's how the theory, or that's how our ability, as our ability increases to see more subtle things, we can pay attention to even more and more subtle things. So let's look at the thinking part. So what is this thinking part in the self? So the thinking, also referred to as vichar. So this part is what does the analysis in the self. So when I'm saying whether I should, let's say, for example, buy a land near Hyderabad, or should I buy an apartment? Should I buy a house? There is some analysis that's going on, right? Or should I buy in Hyderabad or Delhi or Bangalore? So there is some analysis that goes into, okay, if you buy here, the value will increase so much and it will become this much in 5 years, that much in 10 years. And so that I can make so much profit. And so like the rate of return is so much. All this is analysis that we're doing. Or let's say I say today, what do I do in the day today? So we are planning our day. We are thinking, okay, I'll wake up at this time, I'll get ready by this time, I'll go to this place by this time, I'll finish my task and then come back and then take rest and etc etc. So this whole thing is the thinking, the analysis that we are doing. So, or let's say I decide to build a house, then I should decide, okay, what is how much should be the size of the hall? How many bedrooms do I need? How many bathrooms should I need? Is it 1 floor or 2 floors? It should be like how big should be the veranda should be. All these details we are working out, right? So these details that we are working out is happening in the thinking part. The desire is to build a house, whereas the thinking is where we are analyzing how to fulfill that desire in the right way, in a proper way. And then we also choose, the selection also happens. Oh, I want the pink color in this bedroom. I want the, the rose color in the hall. I want some other color in the kitchen. So all these by taste, when we are picking things, that's a selection that we are doing for the same desire of building the house. Or I want, okay, that Western toilet here. I want the Indian toilet here, or I want these kind of tiles. I want that kind of sofa, etc., etc. All these decisions that we make, or the choices that we make, are all the selections. So thinking part is where the analysis is happening, and we also can kind of feel like when we are thinking a lot, our we get heated up and worked up is what we refer to. Often say, okay, my brain is worked up. It's so hot. I've been thinking a lot on these, etc. And then desiring. So desiring is all the desires, the ichha that we have. Now these are stored kind of in the form of images. So for example, if I say a house, a dream house, the word dream house, each one of you here will have a different picture in mind of that house. So where did we get that picture from? How did we accumulate that picture is a different story for each one of us. But the moment I said a dream house where you want to live, each of you had a different kind of a imagination. Somebody imagined an apartment in a gated community. Somebody imagined a villa. Somebody may have imagined, a wooden house. Somebody may have imagined an eco-friendly house. So all kinds. Somebody may have imagined a house in the farm, or somebody may have imagined a house in a village. So everybody has a different image of this dream house desire. Right. Similarly, if I say, or life partner, again, same thing. All the images are different for each one of us. And so all the desires are actually stored in us. So also, let's say I say kitchen. So when I say what kind of a kitchen you desire for, everybody has a different image. Somebody may have a kitchen where it's standing. Somebody may have a kitchen where somebody is sitting and doing work. Somebody may have a granite platform. Somebody may have some other platform. So all the images are different. So all our desires, the details in these desires are stored in the form of images in us. And when we invoke these images, we are storing them. So I attended, suppose, a concert. I saw how the concert how they performed, or I attended a dance performance, and I created a desire that, okay, me or my children or somebody in my family, I wish they do that kind of a performance. So that's an image I stored in me, and I will work for these images as in life in the future. They drive us. They are the driving force. They are the energy for the thinking and the selection process. Similarly, I have a desire to become a civil servant, suppose. That's an image. Okay, I have an image of me becoming a civil servant, entering the office, sitting in that chair with a big table in front of me, having a board in front of me. That's an image I have in me in the form of a desire. And how strong that desire is, or that image is, I will work so much to achieve those desires. So that's the desiring part of myself. So desires, we use these various faculties to achieve these desires, like the thinking, the selection, and other aspects of the self. Now these desires, so the interesting thing is, these desires could come from different sources. They could come from, say, external. So somebody is giving me this desire. I'm calling conditioning because I didn't decide on this desire. Let's say it just came to me because somebody said this is good for me. Or these could come out of sensations. So I saw a car which is very beautiful according to me. It's so flashy and nice. And when somebody is sitting in that and going, I felt wow. So I created a desire that I want to be that person who is sitting in that car and going like that. And everybody just should look at me and feel wow. So that's a desire that's coming from my sensations. And then I have some desires which are coming. So on top of this is another block in the self, which we are referring to as the natural acceptance. The innateness in me, innateness. Or there are multiple names we can keep giving. So, but this is the core of me. And these desires are coming from this natural acceptance, which is saying I should be in harmony within myself, within family, with society, and rest of the nature. And there are desires coming out of this natural acceptance to me. These desires are the desires from the right understanding. So which are the desires that are driving me? That can be multiple sources causing I mean, embedding these desires in me. There could be conditioning. There, somebody said, my friend came and said, okay, if you do this, you'll be really so happy, or it'll be so good for you. Or some parents or teachers have advised that. I have taken it without even, evaluating for myself or experiencing for myself. So then those are kind of assumptions or beliefs or conditioning, or because I haven't yet evaluated it for myself. They may be good or bad. There's no negativity associated, not necessarily always. They can be good ones also. So sometimes I don't know. So all the proposals, for example, are coming in the form of this external input only, right? So, but ultimately, when I experience them, then they become part of like my natural acceptance, and they're come from my right understanding. Any questions on this? Example for innate desires is like, I want to be in harmony with my family members, for example. So if this desire is strong, and if I can see this desire coming from my innateness, then my behavior will be dependent on that desire. So somebody has come and misbehaved with me, but what my response will be depend on what my understanding is. Right. So if I have this innate desire that I have this relationship with that person, and I want this relationship to be a fulfilling one, then I behave in a particular way. So the way we have seen, whether it is learning from them, or helping them improve the competence, or just enjoying the fulfillment. But if I don't see this innate desire in me, and I have learned things like tit for tat to karna hi padega kabhi kabhi, or you need to be harsh, otherwise they will take advantage of you. These are all beliefs or conditionings that are coming from external, right? I'm trying to evaluate. Sometimes I try them and see whether it works or not. So then it may work, sometimes it may not work. So I'm not really sure whether these are the way to go or not. Whereas then also similarly, there are desires coming from sensations, like I want, I want this kind of a touch, I want this kind of a look for my house, I want this kind of a clothes on me, I want this kind of a car. So all those are desires coming from the sensations. Any questions or any observations or any comments?
Hello.
Hi, Hemant ji.
Good morning, Suman.
Good morning.
When we have a desire that other person should respect me, so is it innate or is it conditional?
Yeah, let's see. We have the self-verification process, right? So I want respect. So is it naturally acceptable to me? Looks fine. Now, when I go and live according to it, so I want respect is a desire. Is it true for everybody? And does it lead to mutual happiness? That's the question that comes up, right? The next question. So there, the question is, I want respect is naturally acceptable to me, but when somebody respects or disrespects, what is my response part? That is something we have to think about, whether I disrespect or whether I can still fulfill my part of the relationship. That is something we'll have to see. But yeah, I want respect, there's no doubt about it. So I mean, at least I'm just thinking aloud, like how I'm going through the self-verification process. And then mutual prosperity, well, respect is not about, at least we are talking about the relationships, the human relationship respect. So it's not related to. And is it true for everybody? Everybody wants to respect. Yeah, I think everybody wants respect. Is it independent of time? I want respect today, tomorrow, every day. Yeah, I want respect every day. And is it independent of time, place? I want people want respect in India, in US, in Australia, in London, everywhere. Yeah, looks like. So yeah, I want respect seems to be something that's coming from a natural acceptance. Yeah, Shatranjay ji.
Yeah, I think there are two parts of the respect. One is the innate need of being respected, and which is right evaluation, and I think I should be understood correctly, and so on and so forth. The other part is the expression part, which I think comes from conditioning.
Yeah.
The form of respect, whether hi or namaste or touching the feet and removing hat and things like that, or standing up when somebody is walking. I think these are coming from the conditioning part.
Yeah.
So I think there are two components to it, and I think we often confuse the expression with the innate need of respect. That's what I thought.
Right, and also actually I want to that's really true, Shatranjay ji, that the expression part is different from the feeling part. So let's say I have a feeling of respect towards somebody, I can express it in different ways. Like in South India they may say namaste, in North India they may touch the feet, in Japan they may bend, in somebody else, somewhere else they may give a flower, somewhere else they may give a peck, or different forms of expression. But the important part is whether the feeling exists or not. Without the feeling, even doing all these acts could be even more disturbing. If there's no feeling of respect, but we are touching the feet of the other, or saying namaste, that is even more with it for ourselves only, it is not harmonious. And the other question I'd like to also draw attention to is whether I want respect from the other, or whether I want to have a feeling of respect within me, the feeling of respect within me for myself and for everybody around me, which is leading to harmony within me. Yeah, we can think about that, whether I want to be dependent on somebody showing a feeling of respect. I want it, but if somebody doesn't show it, Am I disturbed is the question that comes up. Okay, if given, that's a fine, that's a bonus, but it's not in my hands, right? Whether somebody respects me or shows a feeling of respect towards me or not is not in my hands. So when that happens, when somebody doesn't show that feeling of respect towards me, how am I taking it is the bigger question than the question of whether I want respect or not. So that then the question is about its swatantrata versus paratantrata. So this is swatantrata. What is natural acceptance is coming from within me. So I have control over it. So this part is also referred to as svatva. This is myself. This is my actual nature. This part of me could have been influenced, could have been modified, could have been manipulated. But this part of me, the innate nature of me, or not just me, for that matter, the proposal here is that for every human being, there is an innate nature at the core which cannot be manipulated or which stays innate. That's why it's called innate. It stays untouched is the whole, the core of the proposal in the relationships. If I see myself relating to this part of the other and not this part of the other, so I am here, I am a human being one, and there is another human being two. When I am relating, often I am relating to the expression part. So whether they have for example, whether they have shown when I say hi, whether they say hi back to me, when I smile, whether they smile back, when I try to talk to them, with how they behave. So all that is dependent on their competence. So this part of desiring, thinking, and selection is actually a matter of competence, and this is where the intention is. The innate nature is where the intention of the other is. So the proposal that we are saying, that if you want to really trust the other, look at this part of the other. If you want to respect the other, look at this part of the other. He also wants to he's also just like me. So I also have this innate nature. I also have this desire, thought, and selection in me. So the other is very similar to me. Like I have innate nature, he also has innate nature. I have flaws in my competence, the other also has flaws in my competence. We both have the capacity also, because I can see that desire, thought, selection is going on continuously. So how much competence I have, the other also has that much competence to become a full-fledged human being. Full-fledged human being is basically to be driven by this innate nature and not be driven by the conditioning and the sensations. That's what we are proposing as a full-fledged human potential, is to actually run these faculties of desiring, thinking, and selection based on the innate nature, based on the natural acceptance, and not by these external things. So in that sense, I have the respect to every human being. I can see that every human being is like me, and hence I can have the feeling of respect within me. And I also can see that innate nature is there in everyone, just like me. So just like I want to be happy, and where is this coming from? If you see within us, that the desire to be happy, and that the desire that everybody should be happy, where is it coming from? Is it coming from the conditioning, or is it coming from the sensations, or is it coming from natural acceptance? When we see that it's coming from my natural acceptance, that is my core nature, that I want to be happy and I wish everybody also is happy. Same core exists in every human being. When I can see that, then immediately I can have this feeling of trust. I can relate to that part of the human being and not the competence part of, because these desires are accumulated over a period of time. Just like I accumulated some set of desires, the other has accumulated some other set. I have accumulated some set of beliefs, they have accumulated some set of beliefs. So we are operating based on these desires and beliefs. Right? Obviously, there will be flaws, both are accumulated things. But when we see that, okay, behind these accumulated parts, there is something which cannot be touched or modified, which is there in every one of us. That's when we will have these fundamental feelings of trust and respect towards the other. So that's in that sense, looking at this core of us, it is my natural acceptance, which is saying that I want to be happy and I want everybody to be happy. It's my natural acceptance, which is saying that I am responsible for my body and the health. It's my natural acceptance, which is saying that I want this feeling of prosperity to take care of my body. So, and it is same in all human beings. So when I see that, then I can have the right feelings and right understanding with me, and it leads to harmony in this whole, all the levels of the self. That is the state of happiness we are calling. The harmony in all, when there is no conflict, because conflicts are there, right? Because like my natural acceptance says that you respect the other, whereas my conditioning says that, oh, don't respect them, they will sir pe aake baithenge. Okay, there is a conflict. I don't know what to do, whether I should follow my natural acceptance or whether I should follow my conditioning. So all these conflicts will get resolved. There is no more conflict. That state is the state of happiness. So that's about the things that are going on in the self. It's a proposal. It's a because these are very fine things. We are all also trying to observe them and see them in the life, whether it is really like this or not. So, and I request you all also to pay attention to these things. Any questions at this point? We have like 5-10 minutes more. Any feedback? Is it like completely going over the head, or is it making sense? You can maybe type in the chat window whatever feedback you have. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I have spoken a lot, so it will be nice if some of you share or speak up or ask a question or discuss or make an observation, how to ensure this understanding all the time. Yeah, so how to yeah, that's a good point. So now we are saying all these things, desires, thinking, selection, all these are there, and we need to we need to access our natural acceptance. So that, what does that mean? So at every moment when we are accessing our natural acceptance, we are basically being conscious, being aware. What is my desire at this moment? Where is it coming from? Is it a conditioning based desire, or is it a sensations based desire, or is it coming from my innate nature? Because I have my desires, I can see them. For example, after the session, let's say I need to go to lunch. Now I can ask myself, is this desire to have lunch, is it coming from my like natural acceptance, conditioning, or sensations? Right? Sensations are giving input. Let's say my stomach is saying you're hungry, go eat, fine. Now in response to these sensations, is it okay to eat? And then when I go there, what to eat? Then again the question comes, whether I should eat something to satisfy my senses or taste, or something healthy and tasty. So at every stage there are desires, and we can keep verifying them, validating them. Is this desire naturally acceptable or not? Then I went, okay, somebody said hi to me, namaste to me. Now should I have a desire to respond back. Is this desire coming from my conditioning, that if, for example, if I don't respond tomorrow, he may treat me badly? Or is it coming from my own natural acceptance that, okay, I have this relationship with this person, and hence I'm fulfilling it? Where is this? Even a thing like saying a hi could come from various sources, right? sometimes we do it out of conditioning also. For example, I'm wearing a dress of, let's say, kurta pajama or khadi. Now, even wearing a dress of khadi could be conditioning, right? I want to be, everybody should praise me that, wow, khadi ke dress pehen rahe ho. If is that the source of my desire to wear a khadi dress, or is it my natural acceptance that I want to be in harmony with nature, and hence I need to and hence I need to take care of the materials I'm using to protect my body. So instead of so and so material, I will wear a material which is harmonious with nature. So that's a choice that we are making, right? So to make it consciously is being aware and basically going by the right understanding. Whereas if I'm just going ignorantly or not consciously, then anything can happen. There's no guarantee. If I'm getting good inputs, I may be having the right desires. If I'm not getting good inputs or not taking the right inputs, I may end up doing random things. It can go either ways. Is there anything fundamentally wrong to have desire based on the sensation? So, I mean, like, for example, the case of hunger. So I don't think there is anything wrong with having a desire based on the sensation. Sensations are always giving inputs to us, but my response, whether it is based on my natural acceptance or is it based on my conditioning is I think the questions. I think is the question. Sir, like, for example, I have this feeling like let's say I'm feeling a little cold. So how do I respond to that? I mean, how much of effort I put into that, and how much how do I take care of this sensation? I think is what is the difference. Like whether I spend a lot of time and energy in responding to it, or desires based on sensations. Like I gave example. For example, I saw a flashy car and I just took a desire that I also want that flashy car. It's clear, right? In that case, that for example, that's desire based on that sensation may not be appropriate. But there are some desires for the nurturing and protection and right utilization of the body, which the body will give input. For example, I have a pain, the body is giving input. I need to respond to that. So I don't see any, I mean, obviously that's my responsibility to take care of my body. So I will do whatever is required for that. If so, Shatrunjay ji, if you want to add something to it, please feel free to.
Yeah, so as you pointed out, probably sensation is short-lived and we may spontaneously take some decision. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Which may not be reasoned out, sometimes what we like may not be useful or beneficial in long run. Because based on sensation is minus memory. So yeah, as you told, flashy car, and we like it and we start working on it without realizing how much effort I'm doing and what is the impact of that on my time which was required for a relationship or with the family. Yeah. So I may spend 10 years to start working on it. Yeah. So yeah,
and also the assumption is that when I get it, I'll become happy. So that's also under question when we.
That is clear. That is clear that it may not result into, but even at the physical level, that may not be the best thing for the body.
Yeah, true.
And I take this opportunity to thank you for discovering that small tailor. Since you mentioned about khadi, I still go to that small shop tailor and he make nice kurtas rather than going for big shops. Yeah, and he remembers you. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Thank you for discovering that tailor for all of us.
Oh no, sir, my pleasure, sir. It was, yeah, one of the, sorry, one second. Sorry, my kid came into the room. Yeah, so yeah, it was like we were trying to, yeah, for Felicity, we were thinking the same thing, t-shirt versus a kurta, and yeah, we discovered that a person, Tajuddin ji, and yeah, nice that he's still.
Sumanji, I have posted a question. If you could respond
Yeah.
to that.
So yeah, if your efforts are not acknowledged, you feel disappointed. So how do we respond then? Yeah, so that's a good point. So this is kind of evaluation. So it's the same thing as respect. So somebody is giving respect to me. So somebody is giving value to me or saying that you are very valuable. Then I feel good. And somebody says that you are not valuable and you didn't do anything valuable, then we feel bad. So our basis for respect, our own self-respect for that matter, is the basis an evaluation by someone else, or can the evaluation be my own evaluation of what I am? Right. So that's where this thing is coming, like respecting myself. Do I need somebody to come and tell me that you are great or wonderful to feel respected? Or can I evaluate myself based on what, because I know myself, right? What my desires are, on what basis I'm taking the decisions, and on what basis like myself is going on, what's going on within myself. Nobody else knows, only I would know. So can I evaluate myself? What is my evaluation of myself? First of all, that I want to be happy, I want everybody to be happy. Can we see that? And okay, I may have flaws within me, but am I paying attention and trying to improve my competence to become a more competent person in having the right feelings towards the others? So if I can evaluate this for myself, then I have a feeling of respect for my own self. Somebody else doesn't need to come and you tell me that you're great, or you're wonderful, or you're very good. So that's a bonus. If it happens, somebody comes and recognizes, we feel grateful to them, we can thank them. But if we are dependent on that, so the same thing we see in relationships. Most of the time we do something to get a feeling back from them, or to get this favorable feelings from the others. So, but that's again another trap, right? Just like physical facilities is one trap for getting the happiness, getting the feelings from the others is also another trap. So I will keep continuously doing something or the other to get the right good feelings from the others, to get an appreciation, to get, oh, they should call me, then I will feel valued. So if they have a trouble and they call me and ask for guidance, I'll feel very good. But if they don't call me and go to somebody else, I will feel bad. So yeah, so I mean, that's what. So evaluation, whether we are dependent on or not, is the problem, is the question. So taking feedback, improving, there's no problem with that. First of all, I can evaluate myself also, and then the feedback of the others also we can consider. But how dependent are we on that for our own feelings of happiness is the question.
Sir, the example is very simple. So, for example, if you on a birthday you have written a letter to your friend, or greeting card or a small gift, and you want that whatever, how did they like it, how did they receive it, in just even it's any gesture, but then you don't hear from them. I mean, you also mentioned that let me know whenever you read it, but there is no response. Then you feel kind of not contented, and whatever, there is a unrest, what that person even liked it or not. So that sort of affirmation of something is required. We can't be like कि हाँ हमें तो समझ आ गया कि हमने अच्छे से दिया है, मतलब बट अब उसने रिस्पॉन्स नहीं किया तो कोई बात नहीं, वो उतना प्रैक्टिकल नहीं होता.
Exactly. So my question to you here is, if that person, that person very well, and you have good relationship with that person, you gave something and the person did not respond, is that a matter of concern for you, or is it a matter of anger for you? Because if we are really concerned about that person and that person is important to us, I would be concerned. Like, usually, I mean, when I give something or when I say something, they respond. Now they did not. Are they in some trouble? Are they in some problems? Should I actually talk to them if they're doing fine? That can also be another way of looking at it, right? We can think this way when we have the trust on the other. When I have full confidence that the other person's intention is not wrong, but it could be a matter of competence. Competence matters could be things like, okay, they saw it, but they forgot to respond, or they are in some other problem or some other issue which is making them occupied, and hence they could not respond to us. There could be so many ways in which the person is missing on the competence. I can actually call and ask, "Arey bhai, I wished you, I mean, aapne to respond hi nahi kiya, so is everything fine?" So I am trusting the other in that. Or will I be like upset that, "Arey, I have wished that person, spent so much thought into buying a gift for that person, and that person did not even care to respond." So if we are really having the feeling of trust, we will it will be a matter of concern, right? Think about it. So if you really trust the intention of the person, and if we look for the possibility that competence could be a problem, then we will be really concerned. We'll only call and ask and keys whether everything is fine or not, instead of worrying about the other. I mean, and this is also a possibility, right? So yeah, please think about that possibility also.
Thank you, Sumanji.
Yeah, okay, Sunilji. All right, so we are ran out of time, and we shouldn't hold on to everybody. So thank you. So Amitaji will take up the question next time. We shouldn't. Since we ran out of time. So, but yeah, we'll take up that question the next time. Thank you so much, everybody, for participation and your time. Looking forward to see you all again in the next session. Yeah, I wish you all a fruitful month till the next time. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Sunilji. Happy New Year in advance to you all. We'll probably meet next year. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. It was really a nice interaction.
Thank you, Amitaji. Thank you. See you all. Bye. Have a good day.
And Happy New Year to all.
Thank you. Yeah, Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you, Sumanji.
Thank you, Hemanji.